Imagine if I told you, with the same coldness with which I signed my first contract, that you have exactly 30 days to change your financial life, and not through tricks, shortcuts, or empty promises, but through a principle that has guided me, from the first dollar I earned to the empire I have built, the power of absolute control of the mind, focus, and faith applied with method. Most people underestimate what they can do in a month. They wait for luck to find them. Not me. I've always made luck kneel before me, because I built it with discipline, clarity, and uninterrupted action. If you're still here, it's because something inside you already understands that it's not just about making money. It's about taking charge. It's about taking ownership of your ability to turn ideas into matter, words into actions, and actions into concrete wealth. What you're going to hear today is not a motivational speech. It's a millionaire manifestation strategy, but not one that is limited to thinking about your desires. It's a manifestation that is embodied in every decision, every habit, every second of your day. And I'm going to start with a brutal statement. You are already manifesting all the time. The problem is that you are manifesting misery, scarcity, anxiety, all because you live in a state of reaction, not creation. You live like a leaf in the wind, waiting for the world to validate you, for God to bless you, for the government to improve, for someone to give you a chance. Forget that now. Today, you will learn to become your own channel of blessings. You will understand that being a millionaire is a state of consciousness before it is a bank statement. But first, I want you to look around you. None of this chair you are sitting on, the cell phone in your hands, the roof over your head would exist if someone had not dared to imagine and act. Every building, every bank, every financial empire began with an invisible, solitary, silent decision, an internal choice. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to make an unshakable decision, one that won't be broken by laziness, doubts, or criticism. You have decided that you will be a millionaire in 30 days. And that's not a bet, it's a construction. On day one, it all starts with the principle of silence. That's right. Silence the avalanche of external and internal noise. When I was young, before any big decision, I would withdraw, I would pray, I would write, I would plan. Nowadays, you turn on the TV, open Instagram, listen to voices saying it's too late, that it's too hard, that it's not for you. Turn it off. You can only manifest power when you silence the noise of weakness. From now on, every beginning of the day will be your moment of authority. Wake up, look in the mirror, and say firmly, I am becoming who I was created to be. And I am willing to pay the price. And the price is discipline. Do you think you can wish to be a millionaire and continue acting like someone who earns $800 a month? Your bank account is just a reflection of what your mind allows and what your body executes. You will change that with a sacred practice. Every day you will write down exactly how much came in, how much went out, and what action was taken to attract more value into your life. I did this religiously. I opened my first bank account when I was 11, and I never stopped. Do you want to manifest wealth? Then master your numbers like someone who masters a sword in battle. On day 2, you will understand the power of words. Every time you say I can't, it's impossible, it's difficult, you are commanding the universe to keep you in misery. You are invoking scarcity with your mouth. From now on, only decrees of power will come out. You will say, everything works together for my growth. I sell with ease. Opportunities find me. I act boldly. You don't say what you see. You say what you want to see, until the world bends to your conviction. And when I speak of faith, I am not speaking of mysticism. I am speaking of the rational conviction that you are planting and therefore will reap. That the universe responds to work, persistence, and direction. When I created Standard Oil, many said I was crazy. But I knew exactly what I was doing. Was obeying a principle. Focus on a goal until it bends before you. Don't jump from project to project. Choose a focus and execute it with the precision of a surgeon and the patience of a farmer. Over the next 28 days, you will apply a morning routine that activates your mind like an engine. Wake up, drink water, spend 15 minutes in conscious silence, write down your goals for the day, and declare your desired state. Nothing starts in chaos. Everything starts in the center. And your center needs to be aligned with what you want to see in the world. You don't need 10 hours a day to be a millionaire. You need 10 conscious and relentless decisions per day. That's what turns an ordinary month into a game changer. What you will realize, and quickly, is that reality responds to you when you act like you deserve a response. You will notice that people start listening to you more attentively. Opportunities that previously seemed closed will now open up, because your frequency has changed. And when your frequency changes, the world obeys. Don't be fooled. Wealth is not magic. But the way it comes to you can seem magical if you've never felt the power of being aligned with your vision. In this process, avoid the two worst enemies of manifestation: anxiety and haste. Millionaires don't run, they walk with urgency and determination. Those who run stumble. Those who walk with clarity build. So yes, you will act every day, with intensity, with fire in your eyes, but with peace. With that feeling of someone who already knows they are winning, even before seeing the result. And now, I want you to respond in the comments with one sentence. I am in control of my reality. Simple, write it down now. Because when you declare it, you anchor it. And when you anchor it, you direct your subconscious. Write it down, and get ready to be treated by the universe as someone who has finally understood their place. Not as a victim, but as a creator. You have started this process, and you are no longer the same person who pressed play on this video. If you listened carefully, something has already changed in the way you look at the world. And that is exactly what separates those who only dream from those who manifest. The former look for signs to believe. The latter act as if they are already certain. And it is in this silent certainty that lies the secret of wealth that materializes in record time. Now that you've laid the groundwork, it's time to plant. And what do you plant? Actions, small, daily decisions that accumulate power. In 30 days, what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. But to do that, you need to eliminate what sabotages even the most well-intentioned, the habit of distraction. You need to learn to say no. Say no to invitations that take you off track. No to conversations that drain your energy. No to habits that don't fit with the millionaire you've already decided to be. Every yes you give to the superfluous is a no you give to your own fortune. I became the richest man in the world because I learned early on to eliminate waste, not just money, but attention, time, and energy. The secret is not to do more. It's to do less, but with precision. Instead of 10 mediocre tasks, choose 3 high-impact actions per day. Wake up with that decided. Execute with excellence. Finish with pride. And repeat. You will be tempted to doubt, to procrastinate, to bargain with your greatness. But I will tell you with the coldness of someone who knows the game. Doubting yourself is the most cowardly form of sabotage. Don't bargain with laziness. Don't bargain with fear. You are not here to survive. You are here to dominate. To manifest the destiny that was written in your soul before you were even born. And I don't say this based on blind faith. I say this based on data, discipline, and observation. In all the decades I've been in business, those who prospered were not the most talented or the luckiest. They were the ones who followed a pattern. And that pattern is simple. Clarity, consistency, and control. Clarity about where they want to go. Consistency in their daily actions. Absolute control over their mind and emotions. Now, let me lead you to a practice that will consolidate this new state of being. At the end of each day, before going to sleep, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Breathe deeply. Then mentally review what you did that day to get closer to your wealth. No matter how small the step was, celebrate it, because the mind responds to reinforcement. And what you reinforce, you repeat. And what you repeat, you manifest. During these 30 days, you will Have a specific challenge. Convert every thought of scarcity into an action of abundance. Did you think, I don't have money? Act. Look for a way to offer value. Did you think, nobody believes in me? Act. Prove yourself. Did you think, I don't know where to start? Act. Choose a point and start. Manifesting is acting. With faith before you have evidence, you will notice something curious. The more you act, the more signs begin to appear. The right people show up. Messages arrive. Opportunities reveal themselves. It's not coincidence, it's consistency. Because the universe respects those who respect their own commitments. And you are committing to something that transforms your evolution. But there's one thing you need to understand right now. You won't become a millionaire in 30 days by magic. You will become a millionaire in 30 days because you will have become someone who thinks, feels, decides, and acts like a millionaire. And when that happens, money is just an inevitable consequence. You may not see $1 million in your bank account yet, but if you look at your new level of decision-making, your attitude, your energy, and your productivity, you already have much more wealth than you had yesterday, and it grows exponentially. The transformation that begins with a daily decision multiplies every day with simple, powerful actions. And as with everything great, there comes a time when the harvest begins. You make an unexpected sale. A powerful connection is established. A debt is paid off. A new customer arrives. Not as a miracle, but as a response. Because everything that is planted with purpose, discipline, and faith returns multiplied. Now, before we go any further, I want you to take a deep breath and answer, out loud. If I continue at this pace, who will I be in 30 days? Say it, feel it, see it. And now write in the comments, in 30 days, no one will recognize me. This is your pact with your new identity. If you are committed to this journey, then it is time to understand what really separates those who desire from those who achieve. There is a stark and invisible difference between those who say, I want to be a millionaire, and those who decide, I am a millionaire, and I am manifesting that reality right now. The former waits for permission. The latter acts as the owner of time, resources, and possibilities. Wealth does not respond to requests. It responds to attitude. An attitude cannot be taught, it is forged. You are forging a new attitude every day of this journey, and like iron forged in fire, it is in the heat of daily decisions that your empire is shaped. You may have come from a history of failure, debt, abandonment, but the good news is that it doesn't matter. Because the only thing that matters now is what you decide to build from here on out. And I want to remind you of one of the greatest lessons I have applied to my own life. The secret of success is to do the ordinary extraordinarily well. This means that your path to fortune is hidden in the most mundane tasks, answering emails with excellence, delivering work with attention, listening to a client with presence. It's not about doing extraordinary things. It's about doing with excellence everything that others despise. Over the next few days, your focus will be twofold. Manifest internally with words and emotion, and build externally with action and presence. Nothing happens until something moves. So move. Adjust your prices, improve your product. Ask for that meeting. Record that video. Send that proposal. The millionaire is not the one who waits for the perfect moment, it is the one who turns any moment into a stepping stone. Now, let me bring you a spiritual principle that underpins all true manifestation: working faith. Faith is not waiting. Faith is acting as if you have already received. I have given away millions of dollars throughout my life, and I never did it because I had extra. I did it because I understood that wealth flows to those who allow it to circulate. Do you want more money? Then bless other people's money, and use every penny with awareness, purpose, and gratitude. You don't attract what you want to attract what you honor. If you despise the rich, you will never be one of them. If you criticize those who prosper, you are declaring to the universe that you reject prosperity. So, starting today, celebrate wealth. Speak well of it. See wealth as something sacred, a tool for impact, proof that someone has understood the laws of the universe and decided to apply them with mastery. And since we're talking about laws, understand one of the most powerful ones. You become the average of your rituals. Everything you do without thinking shapes your destiny. So, if you want to change your financial future, start by changing your rituals. Rituals of attention, of silence, of writing, of visualization, of selling, of delivery. Because the universe does not respond to random desires, it responds to consistency. In my business, I didn't make emotional decisions. Everything was written down, reviewed, planned, because emotion without structure turns into anxiety. But when you organize your emotion into a plan, it becomes driving energy. That's why you're going to write down every day the value you want to manifest, and how you're going to generate that value for the world. No illusions, no guesswork. With clarity, with method. And when difficulties come, and they will, you won't run away. You will face them with the same calmness with which a farmer faces drought. Because he knows that the rain will come. And while it doesn't, he takes care of the land, protects the seeds, prepares himself. You are becoming a farmer of your own fortune. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a drop of water. Every action is a hoe. Plant, water, corrand, harvest. But there is a subtle enemy you need to recognize right now. The ego. It will whisper that you already know enough. It will try to convince you to stop halfway. It will want recognition before results. Cut off that impulse. The true millionaire has nothing to prove to anyone. They are too busy building to need applause. Your commitment now is to something greater than yourself, to your mission, to your family, to your peace. Because money without purpose becomes a trap. But money with purpose becomes freedom. And purpose is not found, it is built. You build purpose when you decide that your wealth will be an instrument of transformation, not ostentation. And at that moment, you may be asking yourself, but can I really do it? And the answer is straightforward, no. If you keep asking yourself that question, because the right question is, what else can I do today to accelerate my manifestation? Questions move. Doubts stall. So change the question and watch your world change. Now write a new statement in the comments. My wealth has a purpose, and I act with courage. Write it down. Fix that identity. Because a millionaire without a purpose is just a hoarder. But a millionaire with a mission that changes the world. If you've made it this far, it's because you're beginning to understand that this journey goes far beyond money. You're realizing that the manifestation of lasting wealth begins with something that most people ignore. The invisible construction. This is the most fertile ground for your transformation, but also the most treacherous. It is where empires are built or abandoned. Because here, the harvest is not yet visible, but the seed is already germinating. And only those with eyes trained by purpose can continue watering even without seeing the fruits. Most give up at this stage, because the applause, the numbers, the contracts, the profits have not yet arrived, because there is still silence. And silence, for those who have never learned to trust the invisible, sounds like failure. But for those who understand the profound laws of growth, as I have learned throughout my life, silence is a sign that the ground is quietly opening up to give way to greatness. That's exactly how it was when I started my business. I invested, organized myself, sacrificed pleasures, but no one saw it. It wasn't in the newspapers. I received no recognition, but I knew what I was doing, because I followed principles, and principles are like roots. They work where the eyes cannot see, but they sustain everything that grows later. You are planting right now. With every new choice, every old habit you abandon, every thought you refuse to repeat. And that is power in its purest form. Understand, the world doesn't change when you change your exterior. The world changes when you change the way you respond to what is invisible. Because it is in this invisible realm that your greatest asset lies, your new identity. And this million-dollar identity is not a role you play, it is a frequency you inhabit. When this frequency becomes your natural state, external reality is forced to realign itself to reflect this new internal structure, but you need to protect this state with discipline. And here comes one of the most non-negotiable pillars of my life: relentless routines. Yes, while others slept, I planned. While others complained, I calculated. While others mocked, I progressed. Because I understood early on that those who want to manifest wealth need to protect their energy with the same criteria they would use to protect their safe. Routines are energy safes, and your energy is the fuel for your materialization. Wake up early, not to prove something to the world, but to master your own. Start the day with silence. Prayer, reflection, planning are not luxuries, they are tactics of war. You don't enter an emotional, financial, and spiritual battlefield unprepared. You need to win before you even get out of bed. You need to win your mind. And to do that, you're going to apply a simple but powerful rule. Rule your first thought of the day. Decide what you're going to think about in the first 60 seconds after you wake up, because that thought expands like a root, and it will determine whether your day will be a field of progress or sabotage. Now, let me show you something that few people understand about the process of getting rich. Results come with maturity, not anxiety. Anxiety is the rush of those who don't trust themselves. But those who build with a solid foundation know how to wait without stopping. You can and should be in a hurry to take action, but never in a hurry to reap the rewards. The biggest financial leaps I've experienced were the result of cycles of patience, months or years of accumulating knowledge, contacts, structure, and when the return came, it was so great that it made up for every second of silence. Many want to win fast because they are afraid of wasting time. But they waste their whole lives trying to avoid the preparation time. And they don't realize that preparation is invisible wealth. The more you prepare, the more you are building something that will withstand time, crisis, and criticism. Don't build wealth for Instagram. Build for future generations. And to do that, be methodical. Create metrics, review numbers, study your results, even if they are small now. Small numbers analyzed become large numbers accumulated. And at this point, I need to warn you about something. Success that you don't organize will destroy you. Many want $1 million, but don't know how to manage 1,000. They want freedom, but can't manage their own schedule. They want big decisions, but can't even master their own cell phone. This is not a judgment. This is a call to action. A call for you to adjust your standard now. Because the money will come. And when it comes, it will only stay if it finds a structure that can support it. So, starting today, treat your time as if it were more valuable than money itself. Because it is. Money can be recovered. Time cannot. Use a planner. Plan your days. Review your priorities. Eliminate tasks that don't contribute to your wealth goal. Automate, delegate, cut, and invest your time in 3 areas: learning, executing, and observing. Learn to grow, execute to generate, observe to adjust. This cycle is sacred, and those who live by it prosper in any era. And now I want to give you a specific practice for the next few days. Every night before you go to sleep, sit down and write 3 things. 1. What did I do today that brought me closer to my millionaire goal? 2. What could I have done better? 3. What will I do tomorrow with more intention? This simple practice, repeated for 30 days, changes your identity. And when your identity changes, everything around you changes as a result. You need to understand this. The universe does not respond to your desire. It responds to your positioning. And positioning is built on routine, on decisions, on silence. You may not see it yet, but you are already creating waves of transformation. People will notice. Opportunities will arise. But it all starts when you decide that you no longer depend on motivation. You depend only on your commitment to your new truth. And finally, write this down with your hand, with your voice, with your soul. I honor the invisible construction, and it honors me with visible fruits. Write it down now in the comments. This statement is more than a phrase. It is a contract with your new reality. You have reached the most decisive moment of this journey, the phase where results begin to emerge, not all at once, but in signs, small proofs that the seed has sprouted, a new client, a clear idea, an unexpected yes, an obstacle overcome with ease. And this is where most people sabotage themselves, just when everything starts to work, because they weren't trained to deal with abundance. They know how to live in scarcity, in sacrifice, in struggle, but they weren't emotionally educated for the harvest. You will be different, and for that, you need to understand something that almost no one talks about. Being a millionaire isn't just about having more, it's about behaving more. More responsibilities, more decisions, more consequences, more impact. And if you don't prepare yourself to behave in the way you want to, you will sabotage yourself. You will back down. You will lose. So I ask you, are you training your emotions to sustain the wealth you are calling into your life? For years, I lived under extreme pressure, million-dollar decisions, public criticism, conflicts of interest. And you know what kept me going? It wasn't genius. It was emotional mastery, the ability to maintain internal control even when everything around me seemed to be falling apart. This is a skill you need to cultivate, because true wealth begins when you govern your inner world with the same firmness with which you manage your business. This requires maturity, and maturity doesn't come with time, it comes with choices. You need to decide today that you're going to abandon the emotional reactions that keep you stuck in the same reality. You're going to abandon victimization, complaining, the need for external validation, because that's dead weight. And you're in the process of ascending. And to ascend, you need to be light. Light on ego, light on hurt, light on anxiety. And that can only be achieved with emotional discipline. How? By practicing silence when everything in you wants to react, by choosing to observe before speaking, by taking a deep breath before responding, by refusing to engage in petty battles. Your energy is too sacred to be wasted on useless arguments, and every drop of energy you save, you reinvest in your mission. At this point, you may already be experiencing the first signs of concrete manifestation. You may be feeling more clarity, more focus, more answers. This is natural, because you are in alignment. But here's a warning, don't confuse progress with permanence. Just because you are reaping something now does not mean you can relax. On the contrary, it means you must intensify. And here comes a principle that has accompanied me until the last day of my life. When things start to work out, double your discipline. Abundance is like a wave. It grows, it gets stronger, but it can also recede. What keeps it from disappearing? Your consistency, your structure, your commitment. So stick to your routine of goals. Writing, silence, action. Now with even more precision. Start organizing your earnings. Create clear divisions. What will be reinvested? What will be saved? What will be donated? Because how you handle every penny now defines whether you will be a temporary millionaire or a legacy builder. And I say this with complete conviction. Philanthropy has protected me from arrogance. I have always set aside part of what I earn to impact others. Not out of obligation, but out of strategy. The money that flows through you never leaves you. And, speaking of flow, it's time to expand. Not just financially, but mentally. Start thinking about scale, about delegating, about creating systems, about generating sources of passive income, about turning your skills into something that can be multiplied. Millionaires don't trade time for money forever. They build machines that work for them. And you already have what you need: a disciplined mind, a tailored routine, a clear mission. Now it's time to grow intelligently. You are no longer playing the survival game. You are playing the expansion game. And in this new game, the question changes. It is no longer, how do I get more money? The question now is, how do I generate more value for more people with less emotional effort? Because true wealth comes from efficiency, from operational simplicity, from emotional clarity, from spiritual lightness, and to ensure that this phase takes hold, adopt a new habit, analyze your progress every week. Grab a notebook, not your cell phone, and write down what has grown. What is still holding me back? Where can I improve? This self-analysis is the millionaire's mirror, and the more you look at yourself honestly, the more the external reality bends to your progress. And before we close this section, I want to leave you with a powerful image. Imagine a castle. It is tall, sturdy, admired by all. But what sustains this castle is not its towers. It is the invisible foundation that no one sees. That foundation is you right now. It is being dug, reinforced, deepened. And soon, the world will see the structure you have built. But only you and God know how much digging it took to get there. So right now, with authority, I have become the foundation of my new reality. Write it down, and feel the weight of that statement. Because the castle is coming, and you will be ready to live in it not as a visitor, but as a king. Now is the time for a new stage. The phase where you stop looking outside and start building from within. This is where the millionaire mindset ceases to be an idea and becomes an internal, functional system that operates without noise, without doubt, without hesitation. And that system has a name: internal authority. When you manifest true wealth, you realize that it doesn't come from the strength of your desire, but from the certainty of your decisions. Internal authority is when you no longer negotiate with your goal. You don't question whether it will work. You don't ask for emotional permission to move forward. You simply act, because you have already decided that it is inevitable. And how do you build this authority? First, by eliminating interference. Everything that weakens your decision has to go. Opinions that slow you down. Environments that drain you. Habits that diminish you. You have to choose. Either you please others, or you build your empire. You can't do both at the same time. The real millionaire knows that he will often be misunderstood, and that's okay. Because he doesn't live to please, he lives to fulfill a mission. Their mission is to generate value, elevate their reality, honor their abilities. But that requires you to accept something hard and liberating. No one is coming to save you. Don't expect encouragement. Don't expect recognition. Don't expect help. And don't feel sorry for yourself. Because, while you wait, someone with less talent and more determination is taking your place in the market. I was never the most charismatic or the most beloved. I was the most consistent, the most focused, the most relentless with waste. And that made all the difference. You don't need applause. You need structure. You need a plan. You need rituals that consolidate your millionaire identity until it becomes unbreakable. And that's what you're creating now, with every step of this journey. So write this down as a strategic mantra. Wealth is built with simplicity and repetition. Don't reinvent the wheel every day. Create a process that works, and repeat it until you master it. If you're selling, repeat. If you're negotiating, improve. If you're learning, apply. And when it becomes automatic, scale up, but never break with simplicity. Simplicity protects efficiency, and efficiency sustains wealth. At this point, you may be experiencing a new kind of feeling. Tranquility, and you may even find it strange. After all, you've always been taught that success has to hurt, that wealth comes with struggle. But no, true manifestation is peaceful, because it doesn't depend on blind effort, but on emotional intelligence, operational clarity, and spiritual coherence. And since we're talking about spirituality, understand this. Manifesting is not asking God to solve your problems, it's becoming a clear channel for Him to flow through you. God blesses those who are prepared, those who are willing, those who align their heart, mind, and body with a clear purpose. Faith is not just prayer, it is execution with confidence. And when you combine faith with practice, results with purpose, you become unstoppable. That's why I've always kept my personal life simple. I've never cared about excessive luxury or ostentation, because I understand that true abundance isn't in what you show off, it's in what you sustain. And sustaining wealth requires deep roots, in values, in principles, in silence. Be quieter, work harder, reinvest more, talk less. Millionaires who build legacies are discreet. They are focused. They are consistent. They don't need to prove anything. They show results. And that's what you're going to do. And at that moment, one last key needs to be turned, the key to identity. The time has come to definitively end the cycle of the old version of you. The version that hesitated, that doubted, that made plans and gave up, that procrastinated, that looked for excuses. That version no longer exists. It has been replaced by someone who has clarity, strength, focus, faith, and action. Starting today, you respond differently. You walk differently, you look different, you negotiate differently. Because your identity is no longer that of someone who wants to be rich, but of someone who is rich even before the money arrives. Because you already think, act, feel, and decide like a millionaire. And that is what attracts, manifests, and sustains true abundance. Now write your new statement: my identity has changed. My destiny is inevitable. Put it in the comments. Feel it, breathe it, live it, because what comes from now on is no longer a dream. It is a solid, constant, living construction. And you are the architect. Now put all these teachings into practice. Subscribe to the channel, my protege, and just go out and make more than just $1 million.